Well, let's speak to Tom Guha now in London. He's chairman of the UK Chagos Support Association. Thank you very much for speaking to us. So we heard there Mauritius saying that the UK forced it to cede territory before independence. From what you heard today at the proceedings, I understand you were there. Do you think they have a strong case here?
So I should correct you first. I wasn't in the proceedings, I'm afraid. I'm in London. There were a number of Chagosians who were there, but I sadly wasn't able to make it.
Okay, but you did watch what happened, right? You are aware of what happened during the proceedings?
I'm aware of the proceedings, yeah. I mean, my points would be as follows. Firstly, I don't want to claim that I speak on behalf of the Chagosian people. If you were to speak to Chagosians present in the courtroom today, you'd hear a massive diversity of opinion. Some who would like to see the judgment go in favour of Mauritius because Mauritius has pledged to give the right of return to the islanders, and there are others who are indifferent or would like to see the decision go in favour of the UK because they see Mauritius as playing politics with their islands. But as far as we are concerned, we've been campaigning for the right of return for the islanders for many years, and we believe that the question of sovereignty has no bearing whatsoever on the question of return.
Right, but you know that any decision by the International Court of Justice is non-binding. So what can this move at the ICJ really achieve for those who took it there?
Well, that's as you say, it's non-binding. It may be the case that it's quite difficult for the UK to ignore an advisory opinion from the ICJ because they don't have a judge currently on the ICJ, and they will want to get their judge back on the panel. So if they're seen to be flying in the face of judgments made by the ICJ, that may not work in the UK's favour in the long run. But in terms of the campaign for Chagosian return, as I said, we know that return is practically feasible, and we think whichever way the decision goes, the right of return must be granted.
The nationals who were deported from the islands were offered compensation, were they not?
They were offered compensation. There have been compensations given at various times, but it's not nearly to the value that the UK government say that it is, and it's impossible to compensate that kind of uprooting from the island. So to us, compensation is not the issue. The right of return needs to be given. The UK and the US government need to take responsibility for their actions over the last 50 years, even if sovereignty is given to Mauritius. And the Chagosians need to be front and centre of any decisions being made about the islands in the future.
What about the role of the US here, the largest of the Chagos Islands? Diego Garcia has been used by the US military for the past 50 years. Do they have a role and responsibility here as well when it comes to return?
Yeah, of course they do, yeah. And the US have been challenged on this a number of times. When Barack Obama visited the UK, Jeremy Corbyn raised the issue with him, and the then president, reportedly had no objections to the right of return. We don't know what the Trump administration's position on this is, but we've been speaking, the UK MP has been speaking with the US, and we want to see the right of return. But currently, the objections to the right of return are primarily coming from the UK, not from the US.
Thank you very much for speaking to us, Tom. Very good to get your thoughts on this. Tom Guha, chairman of the UK Chagos Support Association, joining us there from London. Thank you for your time.